And let's begin with the latest reaction that's just come in of Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju, who's lashed out at the opposition, accusing them of stalling Parliament. He's also condemned the no-confidence motion that the opposition brought in the Rajya Sabha against Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar, against the Vice President. Kiren Rijiju has accused the opposition of disrespecting Parliament and has said that the Congress should apologise to the nation at a time when you've got the Congress maintaining that, look, we are more than willing to have discussions, debates in Parliament, and that it's the government that's actually stalling discussions in both houses. Let's take a look at exactly what Kiren Rijiju has said.
उनका इस कदम को मैं खंडन करना चाहता हूं। हमारे पास पूरा बहुमत है, एनडीए सरकार के पास पूरा संख्या है और सदन के पूरे मेजॉरिटी मेंबर्स उपराष्ट्रपति जी को ऊपर में पूरा भरोसा है। हम माननीय चेयरमैन का कामकाज से बहुत खुश हैं। ओसीसीआरपी और कांग्रेस नेतृत्व का तालमेल जब से सामने में आए हैं तो कांग्रेस पार्टी और उनके कुछ साथी बहुत बुरी तरह से तिलमिलाए हुए हैं, घबराए हुए हैं।
Okay, let's bring in Aishwarya Paliwal on this broadcast for more details. Aishwarya, while you've got Kiren Rijiju blaming the opposition for the stalemate currently in Parliament and the lack of productivity, the lack of business, the opposition is pinning the blame on the government. Is there any attempt essentially by the government, by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, to kind of break and end the stalemate?
Well, let me tell you, both the sides, Akshita, have dug in their heels. We are seeing statements obviously being made. On one side, we have Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who stepped out and said that the only protest that the Congress party is doing is between 10:30 to 11 and 11 sharp when the Lok Sabha begins. They are all sitting inside because they want the parliament to function. On the other side, we have the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, BJP Minister Kiren Rijiju, coming out and saying that there is an appeal of sorts that we are giving out. You need to let the parliament function. So there is a lot of smoke screen out here because they are all speaking to the media, but let me tell you, they are not speaking with each other. So the stalemate still continues. The Congress party specifically believes that the Adani issue is something that needs to be looked into. They also believe a JPC needs to be formed into. The government believes if there are other issues that you want to speak about apart from the Adani issue, then the floor is all open. You can speak about those things provided you follow the procedure. So a stalemate of sorts, and the result, Akshita, as you were mentioning earlier, is that there is big zero. The productivity of the entire session, almost which is about to get over, has been zero. In barely minutes, we are seeing the Lok Sabha being adjourned, the opposition blaming the government, the BJP, and the BJP turning around.
The reality is both sides here have done nothing to bridge this problem or bridge this gap. The Congress saying let's discuss Adani, the BJP saying let's discuss Soros, and in the midst of that, absolutely nothing else happening. And let's get you those numbers that I spoke about earlier in this broadcast about what kind of productivity we've seen in the winter session as a result of this political one-upmanship and quite nothing else happening in Parliament. In Lok Sabha, in the winter session, there's been productivity of about 30%, slightly better in the Rajya Sabha at 37%. But unfortunately today, both held the similar record of being adjourned for the entire day after just about 1 or 2 hours of business. In all, this is through the entire duration of the winter session so far, which has been at least for 2 weeks now. You've got the Lok Sabha that's functioned essentially for less than 24 hours, for less than a day's duration, 18.3 hours. The Rajya Sabha's functioned marginally more in the sense that it's at 22.1 hours. But these numbers clearly show you that there's a lot that we need our parliamentarians to do, to work on actually ensuring that there's productive business conversation that helps the nation move forward in Parliament. The winter session so far has been a whole lot of back and forth political bickering and nothing else. And here's proof of that. Essentially, there were just about 2-3 days when you saw business happening. But besides that, complete washout. What you see here, that flat line across, that means there was no business, there was no sort of discussion, House adjourned minute after minute. There was a slight few days, about 2-3 days, when you saw business happening, where for 4-5 hours reforms were being discussed, like the banking reform. And that was because you had some sort of communication between both sides and a middle ground that was reached. That fell right through, and that's why we were back to square one in just a few days after that, where again the productivity dipped and you had one day be washed out after another like today. Similar story in Rajya Sabha as well. Again, it's the same bracket of days you'll see in the Rajya Sabha where there was some business. The Rajya Sabha is slightly better in the sense that you have seen more discussions, more debates happening and not necessarily being completely disrupted by ruckus, chaos, protesting, sloganeering, whatnot. So marginally better, but obviously it leaves a lot of space for wanting more and for more discussions to happen. Let's hope that in the days to come, you will see that graph going up slightly. And the reason I say that is because you and I are the ones paying for this kind of a washout every single day, irrespective of whether MPs are ensuring the parliament is functioning or not. We are paying for it. Running parliament for 1 minute costs 2.5 lakh rupees. For 1 hour, it's 1.5 crores. And let me again highlight for you that the winter session is on. Even if the House is adjourned, that money still goes through. So if it's adjourned, you're still just throwing away money essentially. For 6 hours a day, the cost of running parliament is 9 crores. And for 5 days, it's 45 crores. At least 5 days, we've seen a complete washout of no discussion happening whatsoever. Now, the question that then comes up is who is to blame for this kind of colossal waste of money? Who is to blame for all of this time being wasted in Parliament? Well, you ask each political party, the BJP is blaming the opposition for disruption, saying that, we want to debate on the Congress-Soros link because this is a big, big issue that deals with India's sovereignty, and yet the Congress is not on board, which is what's leading to disruptions in the Rajya Sabha. And so they're saying that the Congress is constantly disrupting and protesting. The Congress is saying we want a discussion on Adani and that must happen on the floor of the House. And with the BJP saying that's not something they're willing to do, they are up in arms, they're standing up, they're protesting the moment the House comes in session. But they're also saying that we are allowing the BJP to go ahead with discussions on key issues. But they're saying that the ruckus is actually a BJP strategy to avoid debate. KC Venugopal has said that you've seen the BJP bulldoze through ruckus before. Why aren't they doing it right now? But here's where it gets interesting. The India bloc isn't in complete unity when it comes to their parliament strategy. The TMC, for example, is saying we don't care so much about the Adani issue. We want discussions on other issues. We want discussions on Manipur. We want discussions on what's happening in Bangladesh and much more. So you've got the Trinamool Congress on another side. Even they staged a walkout from the Rajya Sabha today because they've also taken on the Rajya Sabha chairman, Jagdeep Dhankar, accusing him of being biased. Samajwadi Party, again, not for the Congress agenda. They don't want to debate necessarily on Adani, but they want to debate on Sambal violence. You've seen a brief bit of that at the time when Parliament was functioning for the 2-3 odd days. But beyond that, absolutely nothing, which is why the Samajwadi Party is also not joining the Congress's Adani protests. The DMK has been a part of the Congress's protests on the issue of Adani, but they've also accused the BJP, saying we're willing to have discussions on several issues. One of the issues that the DMK has also been raising is the tungsten mines issue in Madurai, which they've been saying should be brought up in Parliament. It hasn't been happening, and they're accusing the BJP for that. Now, as far as the Uddhav Sena goes, they're also on the Congress's side, similar strategy where they're backing Congress on the issue of Adani, saying we must have a debate on it. They've also on the floor of the House called the entire Soros controversy surrounding the Congress nothing but a diversionary tactic. So you've got all of these political parties clearly having very different views of what's happening in Parliament. And the result of that, again, like I mentioned earlier, is that every single day there's barely any business happening. Symbolic protests happening before the start of the session, symbolic protests after in the House. The moment this House is in session, there's non-stop yelling and chanting. Aishwarya Paliwal is still with us to discuss really what could happen going forward. Aishwarya, right now the focus will be on perhaps how a Lok Sabha Speaker or the Rajya Sabha Chair can actually intervene in this matter. They've tried before, which is what led to about 2 days of business. Again now, is there a plan to try and do that starting tomorrow?
Well, definitely we will see Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla trying and making sure that he speaks with the top leaders, and that is something that Jagdeep Dhankar also did. And this is the very interesting bit, Akshita, let me tell you. At 10:30 a.m., that's the time when the floor leaders were called by the chairperson, that is Jagdeep Dhankar. He sat with them, spoke with them, and they said that, okay, we want the parliament to function. And then we saw later during the day how a no confidence motion was being moved by the same leaders who had a conversation with Jagdeep Dhankar. So you can very well make out what the opposition wants to do. They are very, very clear that they want answers to be given from the chair, because they are alleging, Akshita, that there is a bias against the opposition leaders. This is what the top leaders of the Congress and other opposition parties, the TMC, are all saying, especially when we speak about the Rajya Sabha. So they want that bias has to go. But the government very clearly seeing, and we are seeing how Kiran Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, also coming out, giving a bite and speaking to the media. So what's essentially happening, Akshita? Both the sides are speaking with the media, but let me tell you, they're not willing to sit on a table apart from the token meetings that are taking place over the past 10-15 days.
Every single day you see meetings, protests, whatnot happening. Hopeful that Parliament will function, key legislations will be brought in, reforms will be discussed, how to better the country will be discussed. Everything but that seems to be brought up, leading to adjournment after adjournment. And effectively, you get a sense that there's no effort really being put in by either side to ensure that this is a productive winter session. Let's get to our next report, where we highlight for you what played out today. Essentially, Parliament functioned for less than 2 hours, but in those 2 hours, you saw the BJP raking up the issue of an alleged George Soros link to the Congress to Sonia Gandhi. You had JP Nadda and Kiran Rijiju lashing out to the opposition on these issues. The opposition were up on their feet protesting, and in Rajya Sabha passing a no-confidence motion also against the Rajya Sabha chairman, Jagdeep Dhankar. We round up all the updates from Parliament today in our next report.
Please be seated, please.
Massive ruckus in Parliament yet again. Adani versus Soros war storms Sansad.
Please. सब लोग बैठिए, please.
The BJP on Tuesday came down heavily on the Congress, specifically Sonia Gandhi, accusing her of links with US billionaire George Soros.
The Forum of Democratic Leaders of Asia Pacific, जिसकी co-chairperson कांग्रेस पार्टी की वरिष्ठतम नेतृत्व है, महोदया, भारत की संप्रभुता पर प्रश्न तो उठाती है, लेकिन साथ ही साथ वो जम्मू कश्मीर को एक सेपरेट स्टेट की एंटिटी के रूप में मानती है।
आपको शर्मनाक व्यवहार की वजह से जो सदन की गरिमा को ठेस पहुंचा है, आपको माफी मांगना चाहिए। और जॉर्ज सोरोस और कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व के बीच में क्या रिश्ता है और देश विरोधी ताकतों के साथ आपका क्या संबंध है, इसके बारे में भी आप यहाँ सदन में माफी मांगना चाहिए।
Hitting back, Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra accused the BJP of using Soros to avoid a debate on Gautam Adani, who is indicted by a court in the US for alleged securities fraud.
The most ridiculous thing they could come up with. They're talking about some 1994. Nobody has any record of it. I don't know what they're talking. Nobody knows what they're talking about. The only reason they're doing it is they do not want to discuss Adani.
Opposition MPs led by the Gandhi siblings staged a protest in Parliament demanding debate on the Adani indictment. After protesting with Modi-Adani mask on Monday, opposition MPs on Tuesday carried bags and wore T-shirts and jackets that read Modi-Adani Bhai Bhai. Lok Sabha Speaker criticized the opposition MPs' behavior in Parliament.
संसद परिसर में जिस प्रकार के प्रदर्शन किए जा रहे हैं, जिस प्रकार के नारे, पोस्टर, मुक्तों का प्रयोग किया जा रहा है, वह सिर्फ न अशोभनीय है, बल्कि हमारी नियम प्रक्रियाओं, संसदीय परंपराओं के अनुरूप भी है। मुझे बड़े अफसोस के साथ कहना पड़ रहा है, इसमें प्रतिपक्ष के बड़े नेताओं का आचरण विहार भी संसदीय मर्यादा के अनुकूल नहीं है।
Adani versus Soros narrative took over parliamentary proceedings yet again, leading to adjournment. Parliament is staring at another washout. Bureau Report, India Today.
So what's very clear is that the Congress at this point is not relenting really on their demand for a debate on the Adani issue in the House. This irrespective of whether the allies are on board or not. So what we've seen in the last few days is essentially the Congress coming together with merchandise showing Prime Minister Modi and Gautam Adani. And take a look at what really I'm showing you here. You have Modi Adani jackets that the Congress wore a few days ago. Modi Adani t-shirt that Rahul Gandhi was donning in Parliament. There are masks also, and you saw these masks which were worn by Congress MPs yesterday and led to a skit of sorts where they impersonated Prime Minister Modi and Adani. And today, Priyanka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi marched to Parliament holding on to bags that had the message Modi Adani bye bye and a caricature of sorts showing Modi and Adani hugging. So this is how the Congress is upping the ante. Essentially every day before the House is in session, they stage a protest outside Parliament with merchandise, all with the messaging of Modi Adani bye bye, irrespective of the fact, of course, that the same slogan by the BRS, Revant Adani bye bye, was immediately rejected and the BRS workers were detained. But take a look at these images on your screens. On one hand, you have the Adani Modi caricature, the cartoon that the Congress has been using for the last many days as part of their masks, their t-shirts, their jackets and the bags today. And now you've got the BJP's counter with this particular video that they've put forth to claim that Rahul Gandhi is essentially a puppet of George Soros, claiming that Rahul Gandhi is acting on the directives of George Soros. So these are the two narratives that both the parties are leading with in Parliament. A result of that is that you're seeing no business, because the moment BJP says Soros, the Congress is up on their feet. The moment Congress says Adani, the BJP is up on their feet. And all of this is playing out in Parliament, leading to zero business actually happening. And expect this to continue for the next few days. By Friday, remember that the planned duration of the two-day Constitution Day debate will be taking place. And at that point, hopefully, you will see some key, important, fruitful conversations actually happen in both houses of Parliament. Let's get you now the other big political talking point of the day. I mentioned earlier about how in the Parliament strategy of the India bloc, there are clear divisions and a divide with regards to how the Congress is handling the Adani issue. The TMC and the SP don't necessarily agree. Add to that, what's also led to another divide in the India bloc is over who should lead the alliance. The Trinamool Congress has been going rather public with, in fact, their demand that Mamata Banerjee is the rightful leader, is the right person to lead the India bloc against the BJP. Now, the Congress is obviously opposing it. They say that we are the largest party in the India bloc, so we will lead the India alliance no matter what. But interestingly here, the Congress now is getting outnumbered because you've got all the allies, Samajwadi Party, the NCP Sharad Pawar faction, Uddhav Sena, RJD. All of them have in fact backed Mamata Banerjee to lead as the India bloc chief. Let's take a look at all the reactions that have come in and how the Congress now is actually going ahead and attacking Mamata Banerjee, attacking Trinamool Congress.
कौन बनेगा टीम इंडिया का कैप्टन? The big leadership question has the opposition alliance in a bind again. Chorus for Mamata Banerjee to take charge is getting louder. RJD chief Lalu Prasad is the latest to throw his weight behind the Bengal chief minister.
कांग्रेस की वजह से नहीं होगा, ममता को दो, तो ममता जी को दे दिया जाए, हाँ दे दे, कांग्रेस की वजह से नहीं होगा, ममता को दो, तो ममता जी को दे दिया जाए, हाँ दे दे.
Shiv Sena UBT, NCP SP and the Samajwadi Party have also endorsed Mamata Banerjee's leadership.
नेतृत्व में अगर इंडिया ब्लॉक के हमारे साथी बदलाव चाहते हैं, उसमें कुछ कारण हो सकते हैं, कुछ जिम्मेदारियां हो सकती है. तो कांग्रेस एक वरिष्ठ पार्टी है, राष्ट्रीय पार्टी है, तो कांग्रेस ने भी हमारे चर्चा में शामिल होकर उसमें हमको निर्णय लेने में मदद करनी चाहिए.
India bloc that is headed by Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge is unwilling to let go of the leadership role.
We should also understand that except Bengal, what is the strike rate of TMC, they should also tell. What happened in Goa, what happened in Tripura, what happened in Meghalaya, what happened in Assam, what happened in Arunachal, what happened in Nagaland, what happened in all other states, what is the strike rate. These are all things which should not be discussed in media, but Mr. Kirti Azad has started, therefore I am asking this thing.
Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has gone a step further, hinting at collusion among the opposition allies.
और जो ये बात कहे जा रहा है ना कि इनके हटा के इनको, उनको हटा के इनको, ये टीएमसी पार्टी एक राष्ट्रीय पार्टी थे, आज वो क्षेत्रीय पार्टी में चले गए। राष्ट्रीय पार्टी की से क्षेत्रीय पार्टी बने गए और सिर्फ वो बंगाल में सीमित है।
Congress's taunts have triggered a strong response from the TMC.
कांग्रेस को समझना चाहिए ये कांग्रेस का लीडरशिप में इंडिया अलायंस फेल हो गया। ममता दी को ले आएंगे लीडरशिप में, उसमें अच्छा ही होगा। कांग्रेस का कोई लीडर अभी नहीं है जो दीदी का लड़ाई के लिए कंपैरिजन में है।
While there is no official decision on leadership change in the India bloc, some alliance partners are being cautious.
इंडिया गठबंधन की कोई मीटिंग हुई नहीं है, तो चेंज ऑफ लीडरशिप का सवाल कहां पे उठता है? मीटिंग होने दीजिए, उसमें अगर ममता बनर्जी साहिबा इंडिया ब्लॉक की सदारत संभालना चाहती हैं तो दावा वहां पे करें, उस पे बहस होगी। लेकिन इलेक्शन, पार्लियामानी इलेक्शन के बाद इंडिया ब्लॉक की कोई मीटिंग हुई नहीं है, तो लीडरशिप का सवाल कहां पे आ जाता है?
समाजवादी पार्टी तो ये चाहती है कि इंडिया गठबंधन कायम रहे और इंडिया गठबंधन मिलके चुनाव लड़े। गठबंधन के नेता तभी खड़गे साहब हैं।
With voices of discontent rising in the India bloc, the BJP is sniping at the Congress and Rahul Gandhi.
कौन ममता बनर्जी है? वही ममता बनर्जी जो बंगाल को बांग्लादेश बना रही है। पहले वो रोहिंग्या मुसलमानों को चिन्हित करके बाहर करे, बांग्लादेशियों को बाहर करे। ममता बनर्जी का चेहरा मुस्लिम परस्त और देश विरोधी चेहरा।
Can the Congress, with its drubbing in Haryana and Maharashtra, still hold on to its leadership position? Or will India Alliance change track? Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, amid the India bloc's questions over the use of EVMs in Maharashtra and questioning the result that's come in, the Election Commission now has confirmed that no discrepancies were found in VVPAT counting in Maharashtra. Remember, there's a mandatory amount of counting that must be taking place also. And after that, the Election Commission has said that no discrepancy was found anywhere between the candidate-wise number of votes in the EVMs and the candidate-wise number of slips in the VVPAT machines. And they've confirmed that the reports on these VVPAT slips have been brought in from all district election officers in Maharashtra, and only after checking the data, they've now confirmed that there's no question of a mismatch. The opposition in Maharashtra has been putting forth this demand, with the likes of even Sharad Pawar leading an agitation demanding that EVMs be banned. Ritwik Bhalekar is joining us with more details on this. Ritwik, this particular communication from the Election Commission at a time when you've constantly got doubts being raised on EVMs and a demand from the opposition for exactly this, to match the VVPAT slips to the votes.
Yes, absolutely. The Chief Electoral Officer of Maharashtra has issued a press release claiming that nearly 1,440 slips were counted from all the 288 assembly constituencies of 36 districts, and they were done in front of counting observers as well as the representative of the candidates. So they are now saying that every VVPAT slip which was counted is very much as it was polled in the EVM control unit. So there are no discrepancies. This comes amid opposition is alleging that there was a misuse of EVM and data mismatch in many of the assembly constituencies and many of the villages. Even Marketwadi was the epicenter of all this drama which was played out, and the protests were also staged by opposition during the 3 days assembly session. They are also now approaching Supreme Court, and UBT Shiv Sena is holding protest in different parts of the state. So now the official version of Election Commission has said that there's no discrepancy.
Let's see if that really changes the opposition's narrative on the issue of EVMs. Thanks very much, Ritvik, for joining us with those details. Ritvik pointing out that there are multiple protests, even a petition before the Supreme Court, despite the fact that the top court has repeatedly dismissed all of these petitions that claim that EVMs can be tampered with, EVMs must be done away with, and paper ballots must be brought back. And despite that, you've got this narrative once again continuing with the opposition constantly targeting the Election Commission on the use of EVMs.